today's class is about reflection of light. In my earlier video, we had learned about reflection of light. That is the only definition of the reflection of light. We had known about the characteristics of light. What is light? Characteristics of light. Right? Now, this is the third, to know laws of reflection of light. So before going through the laws, first of all I repeat the same thing, that is what is a reflection. What is the reflection of light? So we know that when a ray incident on an opaque polished surface, then these rays returned back into the same medium. This phenomenon of returning of the ray of light is known as reflection of light. Right? So this is a simple definition you can tell. Right? Simply in one sentence you can say the returning back of the light when it strikes on an opaque polished surface, then this phenomenon is known as reflection of light. Now there is a law of reflection of light. So this is the law, that is, it's true everywhere, right? It's true for everywhere in all situations, right? So law of reflection is not for only for regular reflection, it is also applicable for irregular reflection, right? That's why it is called law. It is not invalid in irregular reflection. In irregular reflection, it is not invalid, it is valid. It is valid for regular reflection or irregular reflection. Right? Now, the main thing is that before knowing the two laws of reflection, the first law of reflection and the second law of reflection, we should know about the some important terms which is used in defining the law. Right? This is called a reflecting surface. Reflecting surface. Yeah, reflecting surface. Right? As its name suggests that it is for reflection. Right? So the surface from which the light reflects or the light returned back, that surface is known as reflecting surface. In a single sentence, you can say the surface from which the light is reflected is known as reflecting surface. So there is a reflecting surface x dash. Now what is this point? Point O. It is called point of incidence. Point of incidence. Point of incidence. हिंदी में से बोलते हैं आपतन बिंदु. ठीक है? What is how will we define point of incidence? So this is the point on the reflecting surface. So we can say the point on at the reflecting surface, या बोल सकते हैं the point on the reflecting surface at which the incident ray strikes. In simple sentence, we can say it is the point on the reflecting surface at which the incident ray strikes. Right. That point is known as point of incidence. And what is that ray is called? The ray OP is known as incident ray. इंसिडेंट रे को हिंदी में बोलते हैं आपतित किरण, आने वाली किरण. ठीक, किरण को बोलते हैं हिंदी में रे. सॉरी, किरण हिंदी में है और रे इंग्लिश में. ठीक. सो definition for incident ray: the coming ray towards the reflecting surface is known as incident ray. Right? In more simpler sentence, you can say the coming ray from the source towards the reflecting surface is known as incident ray. Or you can say the ray which strikes on the reflecting surface at the point of incidence is known as incident ray. Similarly, we can define reflected ray OQ. This is called reflected ray. The ray which reflects from the point of incidence is known as reflected ray. Now what about this ray? This is ON and this is normal. This is normal. It is an imaginary line, normal, but incident ray can be normal, right? कहने का मतलब है जो रे ओपी है वो ON के लॉन्ग भी इंसिडेंट हो सकती है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। अब देखेंगे जब लॉस पढ़ लेंगे तो हमें पता लगेगा ON के लॉन्ग अगर लाइट इंसिडेंट होगी तो क्या होगा, तब रिफ्लेक्टेड रे कैसे रिफ्लेक्ट, किस एंगल पर रिफ्लेक्ट होगी। सो व्हाट इज द हाउ विल बी डिफाइन नॉर्मल रे? नॉर्मल, it is the perpendicular drawn on the reflecting surface at the point of incidence. It is the perpendicular drawn on the reflecting surface at the point of incidence, right? So ये हो गया normal. What about this angle? The angle between the ray OP and ON. So this angle is known as angle of incidence and represented as angle I. How will we define angle of incidence? The angle that incident ray makes with normal. That angle is known as angle of incidence, right? Or you can simply say that the angle between the incident ray and normal is known as angle of incidence. Similarly, we can define angle of, right? Angle I and angle R both are equal, right? Okay. For how we will define angle R? The angle between the reflected ray and the normal is known as angle of reflection. This is known as angle of reflection. The angle that reflected ray makes with normal is known as angle of reflection. Now we come to the first law, right? We can perform an experiment to verify these laws, right? But you can read about the experiment in your book, right? First law. What is first law of reflection? Law of reflection of light. What is the first law of reflection? Incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Incident ray, reflected ray, normal ray at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. कहने का मतलब ये है, अगर रे इस प्लेन पे, जो बोर्ड इस प्लेन में इंसिडेंट हो रही है, तो हमारी जो रिफ्लेक्टेड रे होगी वो भी इसी प्लेन में रिफ्लेक्ट होगी। ऐसा नहीं होगा कि अगर लाइट इस प्लेन में इंसिडेंट हुई है तो रिफ्लेक्शन इस प्लेन में होगा, इसके परपेंडिकुलर में रिफ्लेक्शन नहीं होगा। जिस प्लेन में रे आई है उसी प्लेन में ही रिफ्लेक्शन होगा और उसी प्लेन पर ही नॉर्मल खींचा जाएगा। तो ये सिंपल सा चीज है। सेकेंड लॉ क्या है? सेकेंड लॉ सेज दैट एंगल ऑफ reflection is equals to angle of incidence. That means angle I is equals to angle R. ठीक है? It means whenever reflection takes place, then the angle of incidence should be equals to angle R. Right? So angle I is equals to angle R. So this is the laws of reflection. Now what about when the incident ray strikes the reflecting surface along the normal or strikes the reflecting surface perpendicularly? It means now the incident ray is along ON. It means it incident on the surface perpendicularly, or we can say along ON. Then the angle, what is the angle I here? Because incident ray is ON and normal is ON, both are coincide each other, then angle I is equals to 0 degree. Now from the second law of reflection we know that angle R is equals to angle I, then angle R is equals should be 0. When angle R should be 0, then what is the path of reflected ray? It is also along ON. So reflected ray is along ON and it back into the same medium, right? Okay.